When was the last time you babysat on a Halloween night?
Are you here, kid?
When was the last time you were chased by a deranged madman? Trick or treats. Starring Jackie Giroux, David Carradine, Terry Snodgrass, Steve Railsback. Next time, don't be so quick to open your door.
Starts Friday at select theaters and drive-ins.
Hi, this is Brandon Ford.
And this is Mr. Motor City, Jed Schaefer.
And welcome to the Blind Rage podcast. It is week 3 of Halloween Horrors, and this time around it is 1982's Trick or Treats, plural, not to be confused with the Mark, what the fuck was his name? Skippy? Mark, whatever, Trick or Treat from 86. Or the
Is that the one that's Trick or Treat?
No. The one with Skippy was another heavy metal horror movie. It's actually pretty decent. Probably we should be doing that one.
Was it made by the same guy who did like Black Roses and not Rock and Roll Nightmare?
No.
Oh, okay. I know there were just like around that mid-late 80s part, like 86 to 88 or so, there were a fair number of movies that, horror movies that seemed to merge horror and heavy metal. Yes.
And Vinegar Syndrome recently put out a double feature of Hard Rock Zombies and Slaughterhouse-5.
Say, I'd never even heard of those. There's more than I knew.
Oh, there's a lot, yeah. And there's also Rocktober Blood.
I've heard of that one.
Surprisingly, none of them are really very good.
No, they're not.
No.
The only two I've seen offhand, I remember I saw Rock and Roll Nightmare, although it was through Riff Tracks. And that's just terrible. That's so terrible. And I remember seeing Black Roses, and the only reason I ever rented it at the time was that cover on the VHS was embossed. So, like, you know, it was textured. And it was just this really beautiful, intricate artwork of like a guitar, and there's roses kind of curling around it, almost like snakes, but the roses are black, and there's like two demonic eyes peering out from either side of the guitar neck, which perspective-wise is a little odd because guitar necks are really wide. But I rented it for that, and the movie is not nearly as cool as the artwork.
Well, there is a fan base, and the guy who directed it passed, but his wife is still alive, and she has the rights to those movies now. And I know that she gave permission to another podcast to do officially licensed t-shirts with that artwork on it. So
Interesting.
yeah. So yeah, we're going to... Mark Price is the guy from Trick or Treat, by the way. Which I have no idea why that never had a Blu-ray release, or hasn't had one here yet. That makes no sense. But we're doing Trick or Treats, which does have a Blu-ray release by Code Red, but I think that's out of print. But before we get into that, I'm just going to get the plugs quickly out of the way. As per usual, I would like to encourage everyone to please check out my books on Amazon.com by typing in Brandon Ford. There you'll also find my author page, which you can subscribe to in order to receive email notifications whenever I have a new release. You can also find my titles in audiobook format by going to audible.com or opening the Audible app on your smartphone. If you don't already, please follow me on Instagram at writer Brandon Ford. I'm also on both Twitter and Letterboxd at Brandon Ford. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, critiques, suggestions, recommendations, feel free to email me directly at blindragepod81@gmail.com. Please don't forget to stop by the official Blind Rage podcast Facebook page to like and subscribe. Last and most importantly, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with my voice. Last and most importantly, please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the Blind Rage podcast on your preferred podcasting platform. Jed, plug it up.
Twitter, Streets a Jed. Yes, that's a community reference. I'm a huge friggin' nerd. You can also follow me on Letterboxd, Jed Schaefer. Look for my Grandpa Simpson shaking fist at cloud icon.
All right. So, before we get into trick or treats, what have you been watching lately?
So 2 movies from the recent past. This one might throw you for a curveball. I saw for the first time Superfly.
Oh.
The legendary 70s. Excuse me, now I've got problems with my throat. The legendary 1972 blaxploitation movie. I'd never seen anything in the genre, and it was on HBO Max, and I went, why the hell not? Excuse me again. It's exactly what you think it is. It's entertaining in a cheesy way. It's not going to win any awards for anything whatsoever. Directing, editing, acting, scripting, everything is low budget. But it's also not trying to be anything more than it is. So, it can't really, and I don't really have a metric for comparison because I've only seen the one. So, it was fine. I'm not going to go rush out and see the sequel.
Well, is Pam Grier at least in that one?
No, this is one of the few that I'm aware of that Pam Grier's not, that she's not in.
Well, that's a bunch of bullshit.
Right? I didn't know that she wasn't. And then as it's going through, I'm like, is Pam Grier going to show up? Isn't she like in half the blaxploitation movies of the 70s? And she never does. I'm like, oh, that's...
I thought she was like the main reason to watch those movies.
Right? But, yeah, no, not in them. So, I guess I got to go watch Shaft or Foxy Brown if I want to see her, in one of those movies.
Or Coffee.
Right, or that. The other movie to mention, and be prepared for me to now just verbally fall all over myself in love, I saw Ty West's X.
Nice.
This is not hyperbole, what I'm about to say. This is not exaggeration. This is I do not speak for Brandon or anyone else who has seen this. This is strictly my opinion, but in my opinion, this is the best pure slasher. Talking none of the ones that like the meta horror ones like Cabin in the Woods or Scream or Final Girls. Nothing that's comedically tinged like Happy Death Day or Freaky. I'm talking a pure blood and guts slasher movie. This is the best one that I have seen since Wes Craven's New Nightmare. It is unbelievably intelligent and well directed. When I say intelligent, it really evokes the feeling of those 70s sort of low budget, I don't want to say grindhouse, but movies like Last House on the Left and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Hills Have Eyes. Just that kind of dirty, grimy, low budget horror movie that you kind of feel like you need to scrub the dirt off you. This evokes that feeling without being low budget or without being amateurish. The cinematography is gorgeous. There are so many beautiful shots in this movie where I was just almost almost the air was taken out of me by how well this was shot and framed. The acting is, I mean, no one's going to win an Oscar out of it, but the acting is, for a slasher movie, is heads and shoulders some of the best I've seen. Everyone has a character. Everyone has depth to their character. It's over an hour before the first kill happens. There's not even a prologue kill.
Well, that's good, because prologue kills are kind of...
Yeah, and that's something else I want to get to in a moment. But I have to say the acting and the time spent. The time spent with these characters helps you love these characters, helps you get invested in these characters, helps you care about the plot. And it's just so different and refreshing. And that kind of feeds into the next thing I wanted to say, which you kind of touched on, is that this movie is a slasher through and through, but it avoids a lot of tropes without being referential about the tropes. Like Cabin in the Woods, Scream, not one of your favorites. You know, there are a lot of horror movies that, even Jason Lives, that follow tropes but call them out. Or if they're avoiding the tropes, they'll kind of do it with a wink and a nudge and kind of go, hey, look, we're not doing the thing. We're not going in the basement. We're not reading the ancient book, shit like that. This avoids tropes without drawing attention to it. And it avoids tropes because it's the natural order of the story. They have just crafted a story where the tropes aren't necessary. And it's refreshing and it's fun. And like I said, that first hour it's nothing but story development. It's nothing but character development. And then it gets to the last 40 minutes. And once the first kill happens, all bets are off. And then, like, Ty West jams his foot on the accelerator and it doesn't let up for the last 40 minutes. It is just nonstop tension I mean, I'll be 45 in 2 months. I've been watching horror movies since I was 8. I've seen, you know, just like you, man, I've seen my fair share up and down the horror ladder. I can't remember the last time that a horror movie, had me gripping the armrest, feeling the tension of the characters, feeling their fear. This one did. And if it says anything, my near 16-year-old son was cuddling me out of fright. That's how well this movie does it. If I had to give this movie a number score, it would break the numbers. It would break the scale. It's easy 10 out of 10, and I cannot imagine that I'm going to see a better movie this year.
Well, I know I'm definitely looking forward to it. I haven't gotten to see it yet, but I have enjoyed some of his other movies. But I definitely have high hopes for this one.
I hope you like it. I'm looking forward to the prequel that's supposed to be coming out. I'm not entirely sure when. I've heard varying dates. But they're doing a prequel because one of the main characters is a really old woman. She's like in her 80s or 90s. And her husband meet during World War One. And the prequel is about her during World War One. So I'm interested to see that, like how they can craft a horror movie that takes place in a time in history that, has there really been all that many horror movies set at that point? I can't think of, many, if any.
World War II.
No, World War One.
One.
Yeah, it's like 1915 to 1920, around there.
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, it's kind of an untapped point in time.
The beginning of the Prowler, that was 2, right? Where the guy was going off to war at the beginning.
Yeah, that was 2.
Yeah. Oh. Interesting. No, I can't think of any. Okay. Well, I only got one this time, and well, it kind of goes part and parcel with X, because it also deals with pornography. I saw a movie called The Pornographer from 1999, starring a bunch of people I don't know, except for Craig Rawson from Dream Warriors, and it really wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and I'm not sure what I thought it was going to be, if that makes sense. I just didn't think it was going to be what it turned out to be. But there were a lot of stock characters. There was the guy in his 20s who's awkward, who doesn't know how to talk to girls, who is self-isolating, has a porn addiction. There is the sleazy porn director / distributor. There is the girl fresh off the bus from a small town in Tennessee who goes to Hollywood to be an actress. I'm surprised she didn't say Memphis. Or maybe she did, I don't know. And yeah, there really weren't a lot of characters. But those that were in it were all characters that you'd seen before. And I thought that the main character's addiction to porn was going to lead somewhere else, but it kind of led him to, because, well, he watched so much porn that it, like, he got to a point where he didn't like what he was seeing anymore. And it was, porn can be kind of like a drug where it has to get more and more intense and things have to get heightened. And there's a scene that there's no callback to it, doesn't go anywhere. But he goes to this video store all the time to rent movies, and he had to something fell. He had to special order something from Finland, I think. And that never comes back. So it's like, okay, what the hell did he have to order from Finland? What was that? And I'm thinking, okay, well, it's called The Pornographer. He's not happy with the state of the porn industry. Is he going to make an insane porno movie himself? Is he going to kill people on camera? Maybe he's going to do that. No. It was just very bland, and I would say the payoff was disappointing, but there really wasn't a payoff. It just kind of ended. You don't even know what happened to certain characters. And honestly, you really didn't care, or I didn't care. I was just kind of glad that it was over. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
That does sound disappointing. Like,
very bland.
Yeah. Like, I don't expect every movie to answer every question all of the time, but gotta give something.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I was expecting something darker than what I got, because I thought it was going to be more of a thriller, and it just turned out to be this very banal drama that kind of just slogged along to the final credits, and wasn't very satisfying. And unfortunately, that's all I got. That, in addition to some weird crackling in my microphone that I don't know what it is. And this happened during last week's recording too. I might have to get a new microphone.
If it makes you feel any better, I don't hear it.
Well, you wouldn't hear it because we're not communicating through it. It's what's recording me. I'm talking to you on my phone.
Oh, gotcha.
So yeah, that's how I do it. I don't connect with you on my computer. Okay. So according to Jed, the only places that you can see Trick or Treats if you want to watch along are on Tubi or Prime. And Prime, you have to pay for it, and Tubi, there's ads. So I would suggest going to YouTube, where it more than likely is, because nobody really cares about this movie.
Yeah, and this I think we both have problems with this movie for different reasons, but I think both of us can agree this movie's not worth the $1.99.
No, I wouldn't say so. No. All right. So, yeah, we will get into our issues with this movie. Are we ready on your end?
Yep.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. I don't know what the hell this distributor logo is.
I've never heard of Cinema Epoch.
Well, they that logo is at the beginning of, I think, because there's 16 witchcraft movies now, and Tubi has 10 to 16, and that they have the rights to distribute those. So what does that tell you about that company?
Right. Well, here's another thing about them. I looked them up on Wikipedia. They don't exist on Wikipedia.
Oh.
But in an interesting punchline, when I put in Cinema Epoch, fully spell it out in their search bar, the first search result is The Party at Kitty and Studs.
Oh, the Sylvester Stallone movie.
Yeah. I just find it really interesting that somehow they're connected to that, at least according to the search results.
Mm. Speaking of which, this music is kind of porno-y. It's kind of a cross between porno and like noir sleuth kind of music.
Yeah, you almost expect like a half-naked Humphrey Bogart.
There you go. Because everybody needs a half-naked Humphrey Bogart, let me tell you.
I don't know. Ingrid Bergman was pretty cute. But...
Now, I have major problems with this whole sequence here. Because she has her husband institutionalized. Why? I can only assume so she could get his bunny in his house and get rid of him. How?
Yeah, they never do make it clear.
How? I don't know. You can't just call a sanitarium and say, yeah, my husband's crazy. Could you come and get him? It doesn't work like that.
No. Like, the most you can do, it's called 5150, which is the criminal penalty code in California. But the most you can do under 5150 is a 72-hour involuntary hold. After that, if you're not a danger to yourself or others, they're going to release you. So I'm not sure what dude reading Wall Street Journal. I don't get how he represents a danger to anybody.
Well, this is all solely based on her word.
Right.
So apparently in this universe, if somebody calls the local institution and says you're crazy, you will be institutionalized for life.
No questions asked.
No questions asked.
They're just like, oh, he's crazy, huh? All right, well, we were going to go swing by McDonald's and get a couple quarter pounders, but we'll get your husband first.
There's no, what did he do? Anything.
No trial? Yeah,
no trial. No, no. There's no judge.
Yeah. They just send over two guys in lab coats with a straight jacket, and they're like, yep. It's like picking up a UPS package.
Mm-hmm. And then we cut to... This goes on a little too long.
Oh yeah, this scene just goes and goes and goes. Like, did we really need 5 minutes of this guy? We're literally at, okay, let's say there was 2 minutes of credits. We're at the 4.5 minute mark or so, and this thing's still going on. He's not even in the damn jacket yet.
I don't even think that... I could be making this up in my head because I think I tend to do that sometimes. But I don't think that this was choreographed. I think they just made this up. The director just told them what to do, and this is what happened.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm almost positive that's what I read somewhere. Yeah, but this is for sure padding to make it a 90-minute movie. And another bit of padding, which is so completely unnecessary, is the scene with the two girls in the editing room where they show the footage of the movie they're putting together.
Where the movie comes to a dead fucking stop to watch a fake movie.
Yeah, a movie within a movie. And introduces characters we've never heard of before.
One we'll never see again.
Mm-mm.
And it's not even like that scene with the editing. It's not even like it leads to anything that is plot relevant per se. Like, it does lead to something because one of the two girls stops by the house, and that leads to a sequence of events. But it's nothing that really affects the main plot.
No.
And as a matter of fact, it introduces a plot hole.
Which one?
True, there are multiple here. It establishes the fact... so, a huge spoiler for something you're going to see in 75 minutes. When the guy kills her, two things, really. One, he recognizes her right after he stabs her. So, the problem is that in all the times that he sees the main girl, he never recognizes that's not her wife. Or his wife. So, apparently his vision just it comes and goes at will. Like why he doesn't... Or his memory. But also... The girl is going up the stairs calling out for the main character. She's going all over the house looking for the main character. So she's revealing the fact that, one, she's not from this house and she's she's completely someone else, and two, that the other person in the house is not his wife, and yet he still mistakes them both for his wife. It's yeah.
Yeah. And this is on Wikipedia listed as a dark comedy, and I really don't think the comedic elements to it were intentional.
No, definitely not. I can't see how they were aiming for this to be funny, because any humor that can be derived from it is purely just by how bad this is.
Or Steve Rail's back.
Kind of looked like Taylor Negron for a moment. Like from certain angles, he kind of looks like him.
I know, but the agency says I have to work or they'll fire me, and I can't afford to lose them. It's the only way I can have my days free to get my acting jobs.
There's one line here that I don't remember what it was, but she says something. This whole thing is her telling him that she can't. Well, apparently he's in a production of Othello that's a one night only thing. And she's telling him that she can't see him, but then she says, "All right, I'll see you later."
I need the stupid babysitting job. These people pay too
Unless...
Oh no, you know what I think she says, "Let me give you the address," and then he goes, "All right, I'll see you later," and just hangs up the phone.
Oh, you're too young to play.
Except he never does show up.
No.
So, like, this whole boyfriend character literally only exists for this massive exposition dump.
Yes.
To establish that she's a babysitter.
That she works for a service, that she's the babysitting job is how she pays the bills, and she's trying to be an actress like everybody else in Hollywood.
Except the actress thing never really comes into play either.
No, except for the tape.
Yeah.
Which is for who? Her agent or something?
Either her agent or it's for an audition that she has. I think it's for an audition.
Well, why the fuck would her friends who are editing a movie have it?
Who knows? Maybe it's a demo reel and they were doing her a favor by editing it together.
Maybe. Oh God, I'd hate to see her demo reel.
Ew. Make Shannon Elizabeth look like Meryl Streep.
Hey, baby, listen. You know what this, you know this 4210
And random guy for no reason that's kind of creepy and's got blood coming out of his eyebrow.
Oh, it's really hard.
Hey, listen, I'm going to this party.
Yeah?
Why don't you come
Well, he wants to invite her to a party.
No, I gotta go to work.
No, I mean,
Really, some other time.
Again, this is just for padding.
Yeah.
There's no reason. No reason.
Yeah, it adds up to nothing. Like, there's so many scenes in this movie that literally exist just because they need to get to the 90-minute mark.
Or maybe it was to show that her car stalled for a second because it doesn't work later in the movie.
Oh, yeah, that could be it. Because there was no other elegant way to do that.
Yeah.
And now, David Carradine.
Oh, God.
Which I love in the credits, it says, special appearance by David Carradine. This isn't a TV show?
No, and there isn't anything about his appearance because he cashed a check. That's all he did.
Oh yeah. This was I need to pay off my car loan and I can work for a day and do it.
He
could not
put
you could see he's checked out.
Yeah. He doesn't put anything at all behind his delivery. He couldn't possibly care less.
And now the introduction of the film's true villain. This little shit.
Now, Christopher, you've got to learn that everything in life is not just fun.
Does she just smack him and then she asks for a kiss?
No smack.
No, she didn't smack him.
I'll be a
No.
good boy if you give me the Wizard of Siam trick.
Oh. And I think I've said this before about how I'm not really a big fan of child actors because they tend to be terrible. This little boy, when he talks, his words are kind of garbled, so you really can't understand what he's saying a lot of the time.
It is. I'm not going to say it's rare that there's a good child actor, but they're not.
They're few and
They
far
certainly
between.
don't grow on. Yeah, they certainly don't grow on trees. But he is definitely Jake Lloyd's Star Wars Episode 1 level cringeworthy.
And the flirtation with the babysitter. Ugh.
Yeah, that. I just watched that feeling so sick to my stomach. Like, why?
The
Why-
part when she says, I'll take you to bed, and he says, that's the best offer I've had all day. What? Who wrote this?
Clearly a guy. Clearly a guy.
All the trick-or-treat candy is there. If you do me a favor and please feed the dog. The dog...
And then he fakes drowning just so he can make out with her.
By 11 o'clock...
Oh yeah, the minute I saw that, I'm like, so we're pulling the Sandlot, huh? I mean, 12 years before the Sandlot, but still, like,
Well,
I know
still,
where this is
even
going.
here, it wasn't an original idea.
Oh yeah.
And we have a $55,000 budget, which I'm willing to bet went mostly to David Carradine. Just so
Probably.
just so they can say, look, we have a movie with David Carradine in it.
Have you got everything?
Yeah, because it certainly didn't go to the gore or the special effects.
And the address? And the credit cards?
Because, spoiler alert again, if you don't count the final kill, the killer has a death count of 1. This might be the lowest stakes slasher in history.
Yeah.
Like, Psycho has a bigger body count than this.
I remember this being one of the first horror movies I ever saw. I saw it when I was very, very young, and then I didn't see it again until I was like 15, 16. And then I didn't see it again for maybe 10 years or so.
And did your appreciation of it just go downhill the more you saw it?
Yes. Yes. Well, when I saw it the second time when I was in my teens, I hated it. But there were moments of it that always stuck with me from when I saw it when I was a kid. I was very little. Those being the opening scene in the pool, the guillotine, and then the last moment when he stabs her right before the credits. Those are the 3 things that always stuck out.
You have to humor these people, Nurse Reeves. They're crazy.
This was a shot. Knowing the $55,000 budget now, this shot completely explains it. Like, really, this whole sequence in the mental hospital where they've just got people in hospital gowns, and the background is just this long gray white wall, like they're filming in a void or something. Like they just could not afford something that actually looks like a hospital. It's just a soundstage and a soundstage wall.
You think they can afford a soundstage?
Maybe someone's really large living room. I don't know.
And you'd never heard of this before?
I had seen the box for the movie. I hadn't ever watched it before watching it for the podcast. But the box, once I'd forgotten the box for a long time, but once I looked it up, I was like, oh yeah, this is the box that kind of looks like the chopping mall cover, except it doesn't have the robot hand.
Brandy, Linda?
No, thank you.
Or I should, since chopping mall came after this, chopping mall looks like this.
But the robots don't even have hands in Chopping Mall. Why is...
That always bugged me. I mean, I am a huge apologist for Chopping Mall. I love it, despite the fact that it is a terrible movie. But it always bothered me that it's got this hand that kind of looks like Darth Vader or one of the Cylons or Battlestar Galactica, or just it's very, very. It's human shaped, but it's very metallic. But the robots are like pepper shakers with anvil heads.
There's like 3 commentaries on the Blu-ray, and one of them is from the original DVD that Lionsgate put out, and then they did 2 new ones, one of which is with Kelly Maroney, and she is chewing gum throughout the whole thing.
Oh,
and I was like, are you kidding me?
man, just spit it out. It's just for 90 minutes. You can make it. Not even 90 minutes.
It's 75.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's actually way under an hour and a half. And she's just smiling. Like, he pulls the zipper down on that, like, nurse's onesie thingy that she's wearing, and she's just like, she giggles like, oh, you scamp.
Well, these were the days where you could still chase, the secretary around a desk. These are the days when sexual harassment did not exist, or there wasn't a term for it. I can't believe they haven't left. They take forever to fucking leave.
Right?
It's like, just get out the fucking door.
Actually, it's the only reason I married him. Oh, yes, he's a real charmer.
What's the reason you married him?
I don't know.
It certainly wasn't the money, because she got the money from her ex-husband.
Yeah,
so.
sure, he had the money. Sure, he had the house. So it wasn't like she committed the husband to move on to greener pastures with David Carradine, who's clearly drunk.
So glad we got that intense stare down between Obnoxious Kid and David Carradine. That established something.
Richard, we're going to be late. Oh, wait.
And why the hell is he dressed up like a Monopoly guy? Like,
He's around somewhere. You'll find him.
aren't they going on a trip? Why are you wearing tuxedos to go on a trip?
Well, they're going to Las Vegas, so I wouldn't, if they're going to be taking like I can only assume they're taking a private plane because that's generally what people with money in LA do. So, and they're going to a hotel. So, wouldn't they get changed when they got to the hotel? You would
Right.
think.
Right. You don't travel in a tuxedo. I mean, shit. I don't want to travel in khakis, for crying out loud.
Carrie Snodgrass is famous for something. I don't know.
You know, I looked her up because
Christopher, where are you?
her name is so familiar, and nothing clicked for me. She was nominated for an Academy Award for her role in Diary of a Mad Housewife in 1970. But like her filmography,
How the mighty have fallen.
Right.
Doing trick or treats.
you're that's only 12 years too, man. That is a spectacular fall from grace.
I know, and it's funny too because Victor Bono, I think, didn't he get Best Supporting Actor or something for whatever happened to Baby Jane?
I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, hearing him. It got him nominations for an Academy Award and a Golden Globe.
And then he went on to do The Mad Butcher in the early 70s. Wait, what year was Baby Jane?
Just had it up too. I think it was 59.
Oh, okay.
62.
Well, much like Miss Snodgrass here. It was only like a decade before he was
Oh, I got it better than that. 4 years after whatever happened to Baby Jane, he was playing the villain King Tut in the Adam West Batman show.
Yeah, that's a biggie that he was known for.
There's a few miles in between Oscar nomination and the Adam West Batman show.
Yeah, and he died young. He was only like 42, I think.
40. You're just about right. 43. And now the beginning of a cycle that will take us for the next 35 minutes. Kid pulls practical joke. She falls for it.
Yeah, she falls for every fucking one of them. Like, how dumb are you?
And there's like a dozen of them. Like, she just keeps falling. Like, okay, the first one and then the hand buzzer, fine. I get it. You thought he was trying to be genuine and apologize. But the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, the eighth one, just no sell it. Just be like, yeah, fuck you, kid, and walk away.
And what is supposed to have happened at the end? Was he supposed to have been psychotic all along, or did seeing his father again turn him psychotic?
I wondered. I still can't really tell because the thing that makes me think that he was psychotic all along and that it wasn't seeing his father again is that he doesn't seem to show any recognition of his father.
Well, how old do you think he's supposed to be? Like 8?
Yeah.
And you don't see him in the beginning, do you?
No. It's just the stupid pool scene, and then it says several years later.
Well, It several. It's like just
Several.
It's just under 4.
Yeah, could be 3, could be 4, 5.
No, it's just under 4 because he said the father says it in the hospital at one point.
Oh, does he? Okay, so a kid should still remember his dad between the age of 4 and 8.
One would think. And some of these tricks that he pulls on her are a little sophisticated for a kid who's about 8.
Yeah. It took me the longest time to figure out where I knew this guy. Because every time I looked at him, I'm like, he looks like dollar store Meatloaf.
Oh.
And I mean, look, like, he looks like Meatloaf's younger brother, is what I mean.
Yes, Value City Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Value City Meatloaf. I wouldn't want to eat it.
But it's not Meatloaf, and it's not Meatloaf's brother. He's a character actor. He's pretty much a that guy actor. Like slightly below the level of Clancy Brown. But the thing that I know him from is a Richard Pryor movie called Brewster's Millions.
Mm-hmm.
He's the newscaster that constantly shows up in the movie to kind of either exposition dump or provide a transition between segments. And he's a lot thinner in that.
Is that you, Cleopatra? This is the men's ward. Say goodnight to Mark Anthony.
Oh, and speaking of Chopping Mall, Paul Bartella's in this as one of the bums.
Unrise, Mr. Higginbottom. Interesting connection.
A lot of people who have seen Chopping Mall haven't seen Eating Raoul, so they don't get the reference at the beginning of the movie and during the whole introduction of the Killbots.
I have not either seen Eating Raoul, but I'm assuming you're speaking of the couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have heard. I only found out that they were characters carried over from that movie from watching James A. Janice's Kill Count on YouTube from it, because he makes mention of that.
I love Eating Raoul. It's so funny.
Now, did you know that Dick Miller's character in that is also from another movie?
A Bucket of Blood.
Yep.
Well, I don't know necessarily if he's supposed to be the Walter Paisley from A Bucket of Blood, because I think Jim Wynorski likes that movie. Because he's used that name a few times.
Apparently, I think it was Dick Miller. I mean, for as much as, whether you want to consider that, his word for it canon or not, but I believe it was that he said that in his mind, yes, it is the same character.
Didn't he die?
So take Dick Miller? Yeah, just a couple.
No. The kid, at the end of A Bucket of Blood, the Walter Paisley character.
I don't think so. See, now I'm going to have to look it up.
Well, I am going to make a shameful admission here, but I've never seen A Bucket of Blood, but I did see the made-for-Showtime, the Showtime Network remake with Anthony Michael Hall and Justine Bateman, called The Death Artist. And when they find out that what he's been doing, he hangs himself at the end. and he throws the plaster on himself to become one of his own, or to become his last piece.
Yeah, according to this, he does die at the end of, or at least he is found hanging. It says. So I get it, unless you want to say that somehow he survived.
I think we're thinking too hard into this. I really just think that Jim likes the movie and likes to use the name Walter Paisley because he has used it, at least to my knowledge, 3 or 4 times.
And that could very well be. It could just be a huge in-joke. I mean, since when do we take actors' word for what's canon in a movie or not? Hell, sometimes I don't even want to take what directors say is canon in a movie or not. Look at what Adam Marcus has said is canon about Jason Goes to Hell.
What are we referencing?
According to Adam Marcus, the presence of the Necronomicon in Jason Goes to Hell is not just an Easter egg, but he considers it canon that Jason is a Deadite.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
No.
And Creighton Duke survives.
No.
According to him, that's canon. I'm like, are you really sure? Because, I mean, for the latter, you hear Creighton Duke's back break. And for the former, if you want to say that Pamela Voorhees got the Necronomicon and used it to raise him from the dead, and that covers the plot hole between 1 and 2, I'm fine with that. But if you want to say that he's a Deadite, he doesn't act like a Deadite.
Mm-mm.
He doesn't have, all the Deadites in Evil Dead are living people who are taken over by dead souls. So...
And he doesn't have the Deadite eyes.
Right. He doesn't have that, all the Deadites in Evil Dead are, I can't think of a better word, wacky. They're very melodramatic, and they talk, and they're, they spew out gibberish, and they laugh a lot, and they're very histrionic. This certainly isn't describing Jason.
That's not my Jason.
No. I think it's only Adam Marcus's Jason. And why is he still available to take a phone call?
I don't know.
Hasn't this play started yet?
You would think, because it took the parents at least 3 hours to leave. And it took, the kid had pulled at least 8 tricks on her by now. And where are, the other actors in this production of Othello? You would think that he would be surrounded by people.
Right. Only in one shot is there any other actor that's behind him. This dude with a huge handlebar mustache, but other than that.
Hello.
You would think that there would be, people doing costumes and hurrying about to get to this place and last minute this and that. And theater is very chaotic. It was a little too chill for me.
So was that shot where she trips going up the stairs. You think that was a production error? And they were just like, keep rolling.
Keep going. Yeah, probably. I would say yes.
Because it never factors in. It's not like she rolls her ankle and then, has a limp through the rest of the movie.
Well, all right. First of all, the way she's panicked, what with all the tricks he's pulled on her, is absurd. And
yeah.
Second of all, what's going through her head right now is, I'm going to win an Oscar for this.
God, I hope she wasn't thinking that.
Especially when he leaves her and she just starts screaming. Very, very melodramatic.
Yeah, she's not exactly an actor of a subtlety or range.
Or talent.
This was definitely can we call it a career high point?
No.
Was she in anything else? Let's see.
I don't know. She didn't have a Wikipedia page. I was trying to click on it.
I'm going to bring her up on IMDb.
I'm willing to bet that she probably went on to do walk-on roles on television shows during the 80s. And that's about it. Another lead in a movie? I doubt it.
Holy cow, by this point she had been working 12 years.
Porn.
The Sexcapades of Don Diego. She went by a few different names. Robin Whiting, then Jackie Garreau. And then Jacqueline Garreau. Oh, here's as one she went as Val Desta. That was for a movie in 1976 called Drive-In Massacre.
Oh, God. Nobody likes Drive-In Massacre.
She was uncredited in Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS. Video Vixens, Vice Squad Woman, Terror on the Beach, Slaughter's Big Ripoff. These are all before this. Jokes my folks never told me. Bedroom Stewardesses.
Oh.
Garage Group. Yeah, there's a movie called Bedroom Stewardesses in 1978.
But that doesn't make any sense.
Garage Girls. Some of these do look like porn. And since after Trick or Treats, she was in To Live and Die in L.A., Erotic City, Deadly. Oh wow! All of a sudden, things jumped here. Okay, so she 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She was in only 7 things after Trick or Treats. Susie Superstar 2, 3 years later. Erotic City, also 1985. Walking the Edge, and To Live and Die in L.A., also 1985. Distortions and Deadly Intent, 1988. Skip ahead to 2010 for The Hostage Game. And that's her last credit.
That's really
so
weird.
That is a 22-year gap.
You think the director was just like a huge fan of Trick or Treats?
Who knows?
You gotta be in my movie.
That last movie, The Hostage Game, also has Corey Haim in it.
No.
And that is the only name that you would recognize. Like, we're talking some not even has-beens, just never-weres.
I'm gonna lock you in your room, you little monster.
Why did he go through all the trouble of cutting all the pepperoni to stage that gag?
Buster, I'll deal with you in a minute.
These tricks are very elaborate. I don't know. Maybe he needed a snack. Yeah.
What are we on, our 30-second prank at this point?
Boy, that lady's crazy. Yeah, looks
I had thought about it earlier today. I was like, I'm going to keep track of all the pranks. I'm going to count them and see how many times this dumbass falls for them. I can't. It's too many.
Okay, so a grown man calls, and immediately
Enough of this.
she goes to the little boy. She goes, "Oh, the call is coming from inside the house." Thinking
Right,
that this
because
8-year-old could
Because
disguise
8-year-olds and
his voice.
40-year-old men sound totally alike.
Oh, totally.
I get
And
mistaken
there's-
for my 9-year-old son all the time.
And later, there's a thing. It's either her or the mother say that he's a ventriloquist or something, which doesn't even make any sense with the phone calls.
Yeah, no, that is... You're right, that is completely and utterly pointless. Then again, that's just one more thing in this movie where you go, but why? Why is movie? Good God, how did they get that pinball machine up the stairs? I know that's the dumbest thing to comment on, but it just suddenly clocked that his bedroom is upstairs, and he has got a full-sized mechanical pinball machine. You ever tried to lift one of those things?
No.
That mechanical pinball machines, I mean, even the digital ones that they have now, they are not light.
Digital? Where's
Yeah,
the fun
like-
in that?
I mean, the bumpers and everything are still mechanical and everything, but like they've got a lot of digital effects to them now, and they've got like LED scoreboards now, and
But they still have the ball, right?
oh yeah,
okay.
it's still pinball's still pinball. It's still flippers and balls and everything. It's just that they've digitized some of the effects. Sometimes they'll have LEDs in the playing field and stuff like special effects, stuff like that, which it's cool, but give me the classics.
Oh, God.
Christopher, will you please?
He actually sounds more coherent with those teeth in his mouth. But I used to, when I was like 12, 13, I used to be friends with this kid who was fucking obsessed with Motley Crue. And he kept telling me that they had their own pinball machine.
Yeah, they did.
Crew ball, and he like really wanted one.
I know that they had a Crew Ball video game. I don't know if they had a Crew Ball. I know that there was a Motley Crue pinball and a Motley Crue pinball video game called Crew Ball. I don't know if the actual pinball machine was called Crew Ball.
The Tales from the Crypt pinball machine was fucking awesome.
There was a Tales from the Crypt pinball machine?
Oh, yeah.
Never saw that one.
My mom and pop video store. They used to have two, and they would be interchangeable. So I guess, whoever owned them would switch them out every once in a while. But yeah, and he had he would say all kinds of things, but the main thing that I remember was him saying, "Tonight's tale concerns a man with 3 balls."
I can just hear that.
Well, dear.
Like, I don't actually need to hear the clip. I can just manufacture it in my head.
Oh, he's perfectly harmless. Oh, and so Screwball keeps calling me on the phone. Is a kid eventually
Elvira has one too.
might be.
Elvira has a really like
No, but
big
that's probably
state of the art slot machine now, and
You know, you shouldn't buy your son everything he
I
wants.
don't think there's that many of them because they're so
Surely you can understand
sophisticated.
that.
But
Then maybe
it's like a
it's
big LED screen with her on it,
good night.
and she's talking to you while you play it.
Oh, that's cool. Good for her.
Christopher is being a perfect.
Yeah, she's gigging. She's always merchandising.
Yeah.
She had her own beer.
Doesn't surprise me.
I don't know if they still make it, but I think it was called Devil's Brew of something like that.
She's a smart businesswoman. Right? My hat's off to Elvira. I got nothing but respect for her. Like, the horror fan that doesn't respect her is like, how can you not? Like, how can you have anything against Elvira? She's nothing but fun.
I don't know, because people are stupid. I've loved Elvira since I was like 7.
She's someone I remember hearing about a lot as a kid, but I never like saw any of her. You know, like when she would host movies or everything. Like the first thing I remember actually seeing her do that was aside from some weird guest appearance or something was the Elvira Mistress of the Dark movie.
Yeah, me too. Because we didn't have movie macabre in our region. That was a West Coast thing primarily.
Must have just been California then, because I was in Oregon and they didn't have it there.
Well, there is a documentary. I think I talked about this on an episode with Tony, but I think it's called American Scary, and it talks about all the different horror hosts all over the country for the syndicated channels in different cities everywhere.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't think they do. I don't think it's a thing anymore. But it goes all the way back to Vampira and who was the other big one in the 50s? Talks about
I know who you're talking about, and I can't think of it.
There's Zachary they talk about. I think Sven Gulli is the only one left.
On like a regional level, probably. Like the only other one that I could think of on any level, Joe Bob Briggs still has. Yeah. He has the gig on Shudder, but it's kind of a different scenario or a different set of circumstances.
Yeah, but he's one of those personalities that I put in the same league as Elvira. It's like, who doesn't love Joe Bob?
Oh yeah. I can't tell you how many times in the 90s that I would be up late on a Friday watching Monster Vision, and it was a movie that, not only had I seen, it could be a movie that I owned. There were Friday the 13th that I watched on Monster Vision, and I could have wandered over, back into my bedroom and grabbed that copy of Final Chapter and watched it. But no, I'm going to watch it because I get to hear Joe Bob Briggs make commentary, right before commercial.
And it's Because of Shudder, there are kids who are in their 20s now who are watching him.
Yeah, he's just as big now, and if not even bigger.
Yeah, I think he's bigger now. Yeah, I really do.
I'm gonna give you 42 cents.
You gave me 42 cents.
42 cents.
I'm glad they spent so long with these two homeless guys.
I know, because this is
They
exactly
really-
this is exactly what we need to propel the story.
Yeah, I need these characters established with deep backstories for the 45 to 60 seconds that they're on screen. And we passed the scene just a moment ago, but why in the holy mother of fuck was he in that diner in drag? Like, you don't make a convincing woman to anybody, anywhere. I could be on 3 tabs of LSD and I would still see that you're a guy, and yet you're in that diner dressed up like it. Like, you're not hiding very well, man.
Isn't this the having you ever seen a pair of tits before line?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Why?
Yes, I have. You don't have them.
No.
And I'm so glad that the movie also took time to show us almost every step of the undressing process.
With special attention to the shoes.
Mm-hmm.
How many times did he say take the shoes off?
Oh, God, I don't know.
Take them off, take them off, take them off, take them off. Yeah, the shoes, take them off, take them off.
So I think what you're establishing is you want me to take off the shoes?
I guess.
All right, so this is the scene that we were referencing earlier, the 2 editors, which is, these are totally believable as editors.
Yeah, let me tell you.
The other thing that we didn't mention about this scene earlier, there's like a pseudo meta commentary going on in here where they're all tired of horror movies and how long is this fad gonna last and why?
I don't know, but I think it was unintentionally meta with this movie specifically. Talking about how much longer is this going to go on, and I don't like these. Well, but she was trying to say that they made her scared to drive home. I don't think this made anybody scared to drive home. The 3 people who actually saw it in theaters when it came out on October 29th, too, which I think was probably one of the only interesting things about this movie is that, because generally Halloween movies or movies centered around Halloween don't come out not that close.
Right.
It's either like the beginning of the month or the end of September, or sometimes in the summer. Because I'm pretty sure Halloween Resurrection came out in the summer.
You think so?
Yeah, I believe so.
It was a summer blockbuster. Oh God!
I remember Freddy vs. Jason came out in the early spring.
No.
Yeah. Because it competed with and knocked out The Passion of the Christ out of the top spot of the box office. And it was like right around Easter.
I don't think so. I'm almost positive it came out in August.
Unless Passion of the Christ came out later than I thought, but
Well, we're almost done with the rough cut of the monster strikes. Oh, great. Listen, I talked to my
let's see.
and he needs that scene I did.
Passion of the Christ came out February 25th. Because I remember there was a joke in a movie or in a newspaper about it.
Well, where are you?
Oh, well, they didn't. Okay, so it came out in August. Then what the hell came out around it that was so...
Oh, could you? I was hoping you would.
There was something weird that came out around the same time, like a couple weeks after Passion, that was like... It was sacrilegious, almost, that it knocked it out of the top spot right before Easter. Maybe it's Mandela effect that I'm having.
I saw Freddy vs. Jason in theaters with my parents. Because I had no friends. And depending on the month, it was like either right. It was like I was either 22 or about to turn 22. And there was a young guy about my age, and I can't tell you exactly if he'd had some kind of accident or if he had just gotten a nose job. But whatever the case was, my mother was convinced that he had a nose job, and it turned out really bad. And she kept trying to look at it. And my mother is not subtle. And she made... Because there were a bunch of people milling outside the theater before the movie started. And she was trying to act like she wanted me to look at a poster. And she was like, just, oh, look at his nose, look at his nose, what's wrong with it? And I didn't see him, so I didn't know what she was talking about. And after the movie, we were in the parking lot, and Mom was like, look. And he was right next to me, to my right. And I remember turning to look, and he pulled his shirt collar over his face to cover it. So there was something was going on, and it wasn't good. And it was so bad that he pulled his shirt collar up to cover his entire face.
Dear God. Poor guy.
And my mother, look.
Leave the guy alone.
No. Oh, God.
So I have to say something about the scene that just passed, the newscast.
Oh.
Why did the nurse seem really turned on by talking about it?
Because he strapped her down and put it in her mouth.
Like, she's smiling the whole time. And why is movie? Why is movie? This movie is so confounding. It's like there's a good choice and a bad choice, and in every possible turn the movie went. But is there an option 3?
Yeah, that's about accurate.
And what the fuck is up with this paint job? Why is the room painted like a European flag with a red stripe and a yellow stripe and a green stripe?
Oh, that's Italy.
What the who in their right mind would allow a kid to put, like, when we moved
Is
into
that Italy or is that France? Yeah, that's
no, it's not.
Italy.
I was going to say,
France
no,
is
it's not
blue.
France. Yeah. Is it flag? No, because Italy's flag's got white. It's red, white, and green.
What did you say?
Red, green, and yellow.
Oh. Oh, I have no idea. What the hell?
Red, green, yellow flag. Apparently there's 14 different countries that have red, green, and yellow flags. Lithuania, Lithuania, Mali, Guinea. I'm not going to read them all. They get really decorative. But the three of them that are the most basic, that are just stripes, are Mali, Guinea, and Lithuania. So it's, yeah, pick one of those, and that's pretty much the color scheme of their bedroom in horizontal striping.
Oh, so it's the whole wall, not just the one area?
No, it's the whole damn thing, because it wrapped, like, from the shot that it was at, you could see the left wall, but then and then there's the door, and then you see more of the room to the right of the door, and you could see the stripes continuing beyond that, wrapping all the way around it. So the whole room has these, what have got to be 2.5, 3 feet wide, or 3 feet tall stripes horizontally. Like the top layer is red, and the middle one is yellow, and the bottom one is green, and they go all the way around the damn room.
Okay, that was probably high home decor in the 70s. 3 things. She just told this kid to go trick-or-treating, and it's got to be like 1 a.m. by now.
Right.
He said he's a cannibal and he eats human flesh. And then she said he's probably a midget. I don't know.
And to Dad Dad here is walking throughout the house. And for some reason, on a table in the middle of the room is an abacus. As one has. You know, every house has an abacus.
I mean, can't you count on your fucking fingers? Like, why do you need an abacus? Or, I mean, if it's that complicated, just bust out a calculator. They had them in 1982, didn't they?
I'm pretty sure they did. It wasn't even in the kids' room either. It was like I think it was in the master bedroom.
Oh, then it was probably some sex toy thing. David Carradine was kinky.
I'm not even trying to imagine how in the hell you use an abacus in that way. All I can think is a phrase that an old friend of mine used to say: kinky is using a feather, perverted is using the whole chicken.
I stole that joke from a terrible slasher movie called The Deadly Intruder, and I've been saying it for years.
I promise you the friend that I had was not a slasher fan, so I know that he didn't steal it from there. And now the well-established character of Andrea, the editor, looking for Linda. Neither of these people are the wife of the killer, and yet he hears none of this.
I guess the director was going for a touch of irony and saying, well, maybe he was crazy after all. Could you imagine if you really thought that he was building tension this entire time with cutting to the house, to him, to the house, to the kid, and thinking that he was building tension with these three things combined? It's like, oh my God, what's going to happen to poor Linda? I'm on the edge of my seat.
Right? Because there's nothing even remotely like tension in this movie. At no point in time do you feel any kind of suspense or terror or nothing.
Nope.
I mean, I'm a little afraid of the paint job in the kid's bedroom.
Oh,
but other than that.
Between fashion and now it's home decor.
I think of when I moved into the house that we're in. We've been here about 3.5 years, and there was no fucking way we were going to let our kids pick the colors of their room. None. You don't let a kid pick the color of their room, because otherwise they're going to pick the dumbest fucking color on the planet. They're going to be like, I want Pepto-Bismol pink. Or if it's a teenager, they're going to be like, I want black. I know. I tried to convince my parents to let me paint my bedroom black.
Fucking poser.
Hey, I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, man. I'm legit. I had a crow necklace and everything, man. I bought it at Hot Topic.
Oh my God.
And also, why would his wife dress like that? Why would you think that your wife dresses in a one-strap tank top? What is a one-strap tank? What the hell?
Something that's probably coming back into fashion any day now.
Looks more like someone got really scissors happy with a wrestling singlet.
I remember watching a movie with a friend of mine who was like very fashion conscious. And it was a TV movie from like 72. And there was a scene with these two high school age girls. And she was like, oh my God. And this was like maybe 2008. She's like, oh my God. Literally everything that they're wearing right now is in. I was like, okay, I wouldn't know.
Nah, I wouldn't know either, man. When grunge came in, I was like, finally, these are my people. And I've never left. And from that one stab wound, she is completely covered in blood. Stupid.
Yeah, that's what you say when you accidentally murder someone.
Nice try, Linda. Now you're getting the hang of it.
Stupid is what you say when you put like orange juice in your Cheerios or something like that. Not when you just drive a knife into somebody.
You do in this world. You know, in the world where babysitters wear their employer's nightgown all night long. Someone threw a cat. Very nice. It had to be thrown because that thing She's at a countertop, and that thing comes horizontal onto the counter. Like, unless it was jumping across the room from the fridge, there is no possible way that cat, like, jumped upwards.
Well, even if it was, you think you could get a cat to do that? A cat's like, fuck off.
Hell no. Cats are cats, man. They're too busy plotting your demise to want to do anything you want them to.
Oh, it's all right. I found the wine.
You're getting obscene phone calls?
A few. Some weirdo keeps calling and tells me he's coming over
And this guy still apparently hasn't gone on stage.
I know. It's like 6 in the morning.
How's the place?
And he tells her to call the police. Oh, I never thought of that. And she wasn't even being sarcastic.
Well, they all got in free, didn't they?
These are some of the dumbest human beings in movie history. Like,
I gotta go. I'll talk to you. Bye. I gotta go.
finally!
Forget her.
He's performing to an audience of none.
Few spiders, an odd bat. What the hell was that edit? I didn't even notice it the first time. Why did it... She hangs up the phone. It cuts away to the kid in the bathroom for like 2 seconds staring at himself in the mirror wearing those novelty sunglasses that are really huge. And then it cuts away again. And now it just got back to him and he's combing his hair. What? I swear this thing was edited by throwing all the negatives at a ceiling fan.
Or those two girls were actually editing this movie in the editing suite.
Kind of like an early version of the scene in Spaceballs where they're watching themselves on video.
Yeah.
What the hell am I looking at? When does this happen in the movie? Oh, well, there's mysterious noises going. I might as well... even though this kid has played 134 practical jokes on me tonight, this might be the real one.
What did she say?
Something about practical joker?
I think she just said little practical joker. I'm pretty sure that's what she just said.
I think so.
Little practical joker. Okay. So, all right. I don't.
But she needed to go to the backyard and drink wine to say that.
Always upstairs playing. Probably.
Yeah, he's upstairs playing. It's only, 4 in the morning. And you should be home. Apparently, Halloween never ends.
Not in this neighborhood.
Not in this neighborhood.
I mean, I know that, nowadays Halloween is a month-long festival where there's trunk-or-treating and mall trick-or-treating and school trick-or-treating every weekend for the entire fucking month, but it still ends roughly around 8 o'clock on the day itself.
Well, what's the matter, darling? Got a sore throat? Well,
I swear, it ends earlier and earlier, and it gets shorter and shorter every year where I live. I mean, it's still light out by the time it's all over.
Oh no, we still get trick-or-treaters until about 8 o'clock. It dries up, like, between, I'd say by 7:30 is when you're getting the late arriving kids, but I'd say we get them steady from about, 5 to 8.
No. We don't answer the door at 5 o'clock. That's too early.
A lot of the kids are out around that time around here. My only rule is you got to be wearing some kind of costume. Like if teenagers are out, I know a lot of people are like, "You're too old to do that. Why aren't you out at one?" It's like, you know what? I'd rather them be doing something trick or treating than getting drunk and running into a mom driving her 4 kids in a minivan or anything else that teenagers could possibly do. Trick or treating is the least offensive thing that they could possibly do on that night. All I ask is just put in some effort and wear a costume. It's like I had one kid come up, this was a few years back, came in his Letterman jacket. What are you? I'm a student. Well, no shit. I know you're a student. You're 15. What's your costume? Yeah, that's me being the grumpy old man.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking of Abe Simpson.
Yep.
While you were telling me that story. And
he is my final form. He will be my final evolution. Like when I'm 70, I will totally be Abe Simpson screaming at everything and yelling, "Mad look!"
Except I have a little punishment for you for what you've done to me.
Why don't you...
Oh. Actually raised his voice.
Is he supposed to be scary right now?
I think so.
I have a little punishment for you.
And what did she do to the I don't think she did it yet, but she does. She modifies the fake guillotine to make it really cut.
Yeah, they take out stoppers or something. They never really quite explain it.
But what? Is that a toy? I mean, what? I mean, I know toys weren't exactly safe in the early 80s, but I don't think they were selling guillotines.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that even for magic purposes, that it wouldn't have a functioning blade that could chop into a neck.
No, I don't know.
This scene just drove me nuts. Like this whole them running back and forth from room to room. I'm like, what the hell is this? Is this Scooby-Doo? They literally pass each other on like 2 occasions.
I can't remember what they were called, but I remember when I was a kid, they used to sell these boxed magic tricks.
Oh, yeah. I had one of those. It was like 20 magic tricks in a box type thing.
No, I think they were individual. I can't remember what they were called.
Yeah, I got mine in like a kit. So it was like, it was the ball and cup routine, and it was, there was one that was, I mean, it wasn't rabbit in a hat, but it was the principle of a rabbit in a hat.
So it didn't come with a rabbit?
No, it did not come with a rabbit.
Well, that's bullshit.
It was a $20 set. I don't know if, maybe if it was a couple hundred and it had a gift certificate to a pet store, maybe.
At least give you a gerbil or something. My God.
No, you had to use a stuffed animal, which really sucked all the fun out of it. I remember I practiced them all, and then I put on a magic show for my parents, and I think I probably screwed up half of it because I was nervous.
Aww.
Why are you hugging your typewriter? Why are you stroking it lovingly?
And we don't even know what he did before he was committed. So it could have made sense if there was just a tiny bit of exposition.
Right.
Instead of, all the exposition about her being an actress and working for the service and having to babysit so she can go on auditions, and if she doesn't go to this house, she's going to get fired. And then the two girls with the horror movies, which was nonsensical, and the guys counting change. But, something that could actually be a callback to something else. No, we're not going to do that. We're just going to have a character hugging a typewriter and expect you to fill in the blanks. I swear this is library music.
Oh, yeah, this has to be. I'm sure that all the music in this was library music.
For $55,000, they're not paying a composer. $55,000.
And not only is it library music, it was just reach under the shelves and grab what they can, because there are so many points where the music that is used in this movie does not fit the scene at all.
Mm-mm.
Okay, now here. You can see her through the windshield. It's not your wife. Like, if you wanted to say he couldn't see her in the living room because he had her from behind, okay, fine. I'll give you that. But at this point, you have a clear shot for, you can see through glass, I assume. And then she gets out of the Jeep, and he just keeps going into the Jeep just because. And laughs about it. He's a very good-natured killer.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, police!
And now
I'm
we come
so
to
bored of this movie.
See? Our discussion earlier, you doubted me that this was boring. Is it not? I mean, yes, it's confounding, but at the same time, there's so much nothing that happens. Like, this movie is the most wasted time in a movie that I can think of.
How does this thing work? Usually magicians never tell us secrets. Oh, shh.
Oh, shh. And I probably shouldn't be laughing or making fun of this kid because he probably does have some kind of a speech impediment. But, I think it might have behooved them to hire a child actor who could articulate and enunciate a little better.
What? You don't want your actor trying to talk while doing the chubby bunny trick?
Oh, I wish this gun was real.
Oh, I wish this gun was real.
Why does he even have a toy gun that is... I mean, I know it's early 80s, so they did make toy guns that looked hyper-realistic, but that thing has not been in the movie at all. Why is it coming up now?
Well, and plus he's obsessed with being a magician, so why would he have a toy gun anyway?
And why did he put on the execute? Why do I keep saying why to everything? Like, this movie is just... Oh, man, this movie.
The days of me going, me and my friend Jason, when we were like 10 years old, in the park, in the open, playing with guns. It's like that, and fake knives. No, can't do that anymore. World is a very different place. And plus, we never, ever kept those fucking orange cap things on the barrel. We were always buying guns, and that would be the first thing that we would do is pop that shit off.
I remember having the original Megatron from the Transformers line, which turned into like this huge Desert Eagle sized pistol. Full, full metal and silver plate, not really silver plating, but, chrome. It was like chrome. Thing looked exactly like a real gun. And then shooting started happening. Police started accidentally shooting kids, and that's when they decided, oh, well, we better put those caps on and stop making things look real. It's like, there's a better solution, right? Instead of banning the toy guns, there's another solution. Maybe get rid of the deadly thing.
I had a cap gun that took those little red ring caps.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a little like 38 or whatever, but it looked real. And I remember being like, my cousin gave it to me. Being like 10 or 11, and going to the video store I used to go to it, and pointing it at the girl who worked there. And they knew me, so of course she had no reaction. And I was like, this gun's real.
And she's like, you're 9. No, it's not.
And she went, yeah, like this one, right? And she pulled a gun out from the counter.
Okay, I was not expecting your story to go there.
She didn't point it at me. She just held it up and went like this one, right? And then put it back. Wow. My eyes bugged out of my head. I had no idea that she was going to do that. I had no idea that they had a gun.
You're like, yeah, never mind.
I'll pay for my trick-or-treats now. I'll pay for my trick-or-treats rental. Because that's what I was trying to do, get free rental.
This is such an upbeat song for a movie that ends with someone getting murdered by a 9-year-old.
This is the dregs of the disco era.
Performed by Horizon. I've never heard of them.
It's probably a good thing.
Probably, yeah.
Ooh. Those credits were surprisingly short. You would have thought that they would have padded them out for like 10 minutes.
Well, I mean, when it's $55,000 budget, there's only so many people that are working on this thing.
Well, yeah. However many, it wasn't enough. I can tell you that.
Yeah, no, that... To say that needed another couple, the script needed another couple passes, is putting it mildly. Mm-hmm. The script probably should have just been put in a paper shredder.
Yeah. I think it should have just been called Tricks, too. Because Trick or Treats doesn't really roll off the tongue very well. And there really aren't any treats. It's just a bunch of stupid tricks. But I guess they wanted it to sound more Halloween-y.
Right. Tricks also kind of sounds, slang, it's a slang term associated with prostitution, so that could give it the wrong impression.
Yeah, that's true. Well, unfortunately, that was Trick or Treats. And, yeah, I do. At least the Mark Price one is a bit more entertaining. Should have done that one. And I used to have it was one of those DVDs that you see in the $5 bin at Walmart all the fucking time. And I used to have it, and I don't know where it went, what I did with it. And now it's out of print, of course. And
And to buy it, it's probably like $50 or something.
Yeah. I think it's only on Blu-ray in Germany. I think.
Well, if you can stand the translated cover.
Well, I'm not buying any more fucking German imports because the Dr. Giggles one that I bought was cut by 5 minutes, and I was not happy about that at all.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Now I'm scared because I bought I think it was a British copy of Girl House, and I haven't watched it yet, and now I'm afraid that it might have gotten snipped.
What's Girl House?
Oh man, Girl House is made 2014, 2015, somewhere around there, mid last decade. It's a slasher movie about so the main character is a girl who she's going to college, and her mom is working double shifts and is having trouble paying her tuition. So there's this house, kind of like that show Big Brother, where people get locked in it, except for this is what if Big Brother was filled with nothing but cam girls. So she wants to go there to earn money so she could pay for her college. So that means closing, if she moves in, the doors are closed. It's on a secure location that's private. It's off the grid, or at least it's unmarked. It's supposed to be high security. And so she's there and she's warming up to performing. And she's not the only girl in the house. There's like 7 or 8 other girls. And there's this one person, this guy who becomes a fan of hers, and he has no self-esteem. He just pretty much lives for porn. And he ends up getting his feelings hurt through a mix-up, and he takes it so badly that he ends up figuring out where the girl house is and goes there to slaughter everybody. It doesn't sound like a very original setup, but it has a lot of character work to it. In the first almost kind of like X, really. Like the first hour or so is a lot of strong character work about building this girl up. But that last half hour are some of the most brutal kills I have ever seen not just brutal, but almost I don't want to say torturous. Okay, best example. There is one kill where all he uses is duct tape, but he duct tapes the girl's hands to her face and wraps the duct tape around so it cuts off her mouth and nose.
Mm.
And so she basically suffocates to death, and she can't pull her hands out because they're strapped down. Or there's another girl that he just cuts her hands off and then scars her face. And so she is weeping and freaking out because her beauty is destroyed and she's extremely vain, and she ends up getting a gun and shooting herself.
Oh no.
Yeah, you like using her toe, I think, to pull the trigger. So he kills them in these ways that are real. They're tortures, but not in a torture porn way, in a really mean-spirited, I hate you and I'm going to make you suffer kind of way.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's dark, it's brutal, and it's edgy, but it's really good. It's a really damn good movie. Highly recommended, but it's I don't even know if it was ever imprinted to the United States. I cannot find the United States issued copy online. All I can find are foreign copies.
Did you get it on Blu-ray or DVD?
I think DVD. Because that's all I could find.
Okay. Well, do you have any final thoughts on Trick or Treats?
If you managed to make it this far, God bless you for making it through easily one of the stupidest and dullest slasher movie. I don't even know that you can call it a slasher movie.
No,
with one kill.
No.
I don't know what it is, but it's not good.
No.
It's just,
and as I said before, unfortunately, this was the best I could find.
You know what? My final thought. I've said it probably 3 or 4 times in this commentary. It will be the thing that I leave out on. Why is movie?
All right. Well, that will be the last word on Trick or Treats. So I want to say thank you to Jed for joining me for this Halloween edition of the Blind Rage podcast, and we still have 2 more weeks to go, so stay tuned for more Halloween themed episodes. So yep, until next time, this is Brandon Ford wishing you all unpleasant dreams.